Uh, really good spirits this week. We understand we've got an opportunity play a top 25 team on the road, and we're excited about that. We're excited to compete. We're excited to move on from last week and prove to ourselves that we can and will improve and play like the team we know that we can be. Injury update, Colin will be a game time decision. BJ Foster was limited throughout the week with some neck stuff. So he'll be a game time decision. We'll see how he responds to medication. Other than that, I don't think there's anybody else. Questions?
Junior's still good to go. Angelo?
Yeah. Yep.
And then Cook, is he out? So.
Yeah, Cook is out.
Okay.
Yep.
Cook is out.
And Whittington.
He's been cleared. We'll just see how he feels and what how pregame goes and all that stuff.
Okay. He's the guy I wanted to ask. But now that y'all are within a 3-game window for him, just roll him out there and see what he can do, even if it is limited. Or
yeah, I mean he's got to be able to run full speed without pain and without hurting the team. Okay. So yeah, there was no. This was not about 4 games for Jay Witt. This is about him, trying to fight through some of the scar tissue and swelling and pain that he's still having.
Cool. Tom, you mentioned how you felt like your team kind of lost some of the toughness because of the lack of physicality during practice. Maybe not losing toughness, but you weren't as physical in practice as you wanted to be. Do you think there's any residual scar tissue, quote unquote, with this team from when you guys had all those injuries and didn't have that practice time where you were going full bore against each other?
No.
Tom, what are your overall impressions of Charlie Brewer and kind of what he does for this Baylor?
Oh, he's again. This is in the Big 12, you go from one quarterback to the next, and respect the heck out of him and the way he's led his team. I think one of, if not the most called run they have is actually quarterback draw with some RPO stuff attached to it. So they use him quite a bit in the run game, and he's a competitive dude. I would imagine he's probably a lot like our guy in terms of his leadership ability, and obviously the family, with his dad playing here and all of that. We've got a lot of respect for them as a family, but like most teams in the Big 12, really in the country, he's, as I say often, he's the gas that makes their engine go on offense, and he's playing at a really high level right now.
Did you really know Rule at all before he came to Baylor?
Yeah. In the American, we played in the championship game in the American Conference.
Okay. But were y'all personal friends or anything? Or
I would no. I mean, we were. We see each other at the conference meetings and talk, but not. I mean, we weren't going out to dinner or anything like that.
Are there any characteristics of a team that's coached by him that you've seen from Temple that carries on to Baylor?
Tough. Yeah, they're tough. They play hard. I was impressed with their. You turn the film on of their defense, especially offense is the same, but really defensively, their linebacker crew and safety crew, they might not be the biggest guys that we play, but they are fast and they are physical, and they will throw their bodies around.
How would you describe this rivalry with Texas and Baylor? It seems like it's really taken on a life of its own this past decade.
Well, I think anytime you play a team within your state that you're going to be recruiting the same players, and you're going to there's our guys on our team know a lot of those players, having played against them or with them, some of them. So anytime you have a team that is recruiting from the same pool that you are, and they've got players that your players know, it becomes I think the familiarity of it, breeds some excitement to the game.
You have a large group of captains this year. How have they led throughout this recent batch of adversity?
Great. You know, I mean, it's I hear them all the time on the practice field. You know, they've always got energy. You know, and they've got a lot of confidence. They've got a lot of belief, and they try to spread all of that, the confidence and belief, and they're doing a really good job of it. And they really do understand the want to know mindset, you know, and they believe in it, and they're you know, there is no point in looking back or looking forward. We've got to focus on this week, and we've got a great opportunity to play a really good football team, and they've done a good job of spreading that message and making sure that their message is aligned with our staff's.
Speaking of messages, Coach, I know you don't like to look too far ahead, but in 2 weeks you're going to start hitting the road recruiting, and you know, that's when it gets, you know, really fast-paced. What still is kind of your message, you know, to the recruits, especially as you're starting to get out on the road and pretty soon?
Yeah, it's the same that it's ever been. You know, you've got an opportunity to come get an elite education in the #1 city in America, be developed. You know, when we're playing the way that we're capable of playing, we've got an opportunity to compete for championships. So the message really will never change.
How high would you say the confidence level is for this team right now?
Very, very high. Yeah, I mean, we have shown to ourselves what we're capable of. So it would be different, you know, if we were losing ball games by 30 points, or you know, if we had lost more than we have right now. But they know what we can be. We've seen it. We've proven it to ourselves, and so we as a whole looked inside each. I shouldn't say as a whole. Individually, you know, our challenge this week was to look inside of ourselves, be very mature and humble. You know, it takes a lot of maturity and a lot of humility to look within yourself and really find your areas of deficiency, and then it takes a whole nother level then to you know, put forth the effort to rectify those deficiencies, and a whole nother level of maturity and humility to, if you don't know how to rectify it, to really dive into those issues with your coaches and get it fixed. I thought our guys have responded really, really well. I mean, it's not about getting knocked down. It's how you respond when you get knocked down and get back up. So they're really confident. I think mainly because we have seen what we can be. We just need to figure out individually and collectively how to perform at that level on a much more consistent basis.
Because of that, is there a level of frustration with the guys or amongst the coaching staff at not consistently getting to that level that you know you're capable of?
Yeah, I think it'd be foolish to say there wasn't. I mean, when you're if you've got a competitive bone in your body, which all of these guys do, you're going to be frustrated when you don't play at the level that you have shown that you're capable of. So, but that's, you never want to use frustration as motivation. You know, it's about rolling your sleeves up, going to work, and figuring out what the issues are, and then again putting forth the effort to rectify those issues.
Time for two last ones.
You know, obviously, like, there are a lot of factors that played a role in Iowa State loss, but, you know, from Malcolm, you know, the speak yesterday with media, you know, following the penalty, what does it say to his character and about him in your opinion?
What does what say?
Or like Malcolm coming out and, you know, having courage to take on questions and answer about.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. I mean, I've told you guys, when he's done playing football, you know, he wants to get into coaching. You know, he's always going to have a home with me, and because he is so accountable, and you know, again, obviously it killed him, you know, internally for that to happen. But again, he's done a really good job of moving on. You know, you can't let mistakes like that. You know, the old adage, right? I mean, it's not one play. It really isn't. You know, there was a multitude of reasons that we weren't able to pull that one out. Obviously, that one stands out because of the timing of it, but there were plenty others throughout the game that were just as impactful.